Hello, everyone. Welcome to With Heart and Soul podcast. You're listening to your host, David and Jackie. Hi, David.
Hey,
Hey, so how was your week, David?
it has been a busy week. Uh, I travel, as we said last episode, I traveled for work, and I was in three cities, six planes, and it was a lot. It was a lot. I try not to travel on Fridays, but unfortunately I had to. I'm actually going to travel this Friday too, but this Friday coming up too. But this Friday will be a little bit easier. This is really short. I'm going to Mississippi, so it's like right next to Georgia. So this not too bad. This past Friday, I was in New York. So from Atlanta to New York, that was a lot. But busy, busy, busy. Yesterday, I'm not a big Halloween person, but I celebrated with my wife. We tend to like dress up and stuff like that. We don't do the candies and all that stuff, but we dress up. And yesterday we went to a costume party. Had a good time. I was Mr. Incredible. She was Mrs. Incredible, and then she got the dog costume. So she dressed up our dog, and he was a Jack Jack. So we took a picture. So it was nice. It was nice. What about yours? How was your weekend?
My week was good. I had my kids this week, so I was super busy with them. I exercised this week, 4 days out of 7. What else did I do? I went to work. I don't know. I didn't do a lot, but I had a lot of fun this weekend. On Friday, trick or treat was canceled in my town because of the weather. So we had a little party inside of our house and we made dirt cups. You know what dirt cups are?
I think it's like brownie and like you do worms and stuff. Like it's edible worms. Oh no, am I wrong?
Yes, so close, so close. It's
Okay.
chocolate pudding with Oreo cookie crumbles on top and then worms.
Yeah.
So yeah, we made those. We danced to some music. We ate pizza. We watched the Addams Family, and then me and Jackie fell asleep, and the kids watched the whole movie basically by themselves. But it was super fun. It was a good weekend.
Oh, that's awesome. Awesome. And I know since you have kids, like Halloween is a little bit different as far as like expectation wise because you're young, you want you want the candy, you want to dress up like as a child. So I imagine that you have to put more effort into the celebration.
Yeah, yeah, it's not about me at all, but I'm not a big Halloween person either, so that's fine. Like I don't really feel like dressing up. I'm not like gonna go party or anything, so it's fine that I have my kids. I actually don't like trick or treating either because the whole time I'm just like, stay by me, hold my hand, say thank you, say please, only grab one. Like I just feel like I'm going crazy. But I learned a little life hack one of the years, and I found out that the little coffee mugs that the moms are holding when they're walking with their kids has an alcoholic beverage in it. So next time I take them, I'm gonna have to do that because I didn't know about that.
You thought it was just coffee, like, oh, I'm just drinking coffee to stay awake with the kids.
I really did because it's cold, so I thought they were just having a warm drink, but nope, that's what it is because it's stressful. It's
Yeah.
stressful. Your kids be hype and they don't stay with you.
And then they're eating candy along the way, so their energy levels up, and they just want to
Mhm.
go to as many houses as possible. I've seen it, and I'm not ready for that.
Yeah,
So,
like it's not for me. It's not for me.
yeah,
One day, David.
yeah, I guess so maybe.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah. So today we have an interesting topic. It's very interesting, and I've been telling a couple friends like, oh, episode 3 is gonna be spicy, and I think this week's podcast is going to be really spicy because it's another controversial topic. And I know Jackie has said this plenty of times in episode 1 and 2 that we won't do controversial topics all the time, but they sometimes they just fall within the lines of relationships, and every relationship is different. So this week's topic is having friends of the opposite sex while you're in a relationship. Um, so I know you have a lot to say about that. So I'm going to let you start first.
I have a lot to say. What? This topic was your yeah. No, but I can start it. Okay, so it looks a little bit different for me because I'm in a same sex relationship. So one thing that I've noticed is that it's different because when I was in a male to female relationship, it was like an unspoken rule that I couldn't have male friends, and same for him, like he couldn't have female friends. And it just was never a thing. Like I never tried to befriend men, and men didn't try to befriend me. And I think same for my male partner. Um, but now that I'm in a same sex relationship, I have friendships with pretty much whoever I want. So I'm not entirely sure if that's the nature of the relationship, like toxic versus healthy or
Mhm.
not. But I feel like in my relationship, if there was any concern, it would probably be with a female instead of a male. But still, it's not like my partner is like, don't have friends, don't be friends with females or don't be friends with men. She pretty much just doesn't tell me what to do. So that's what it looks like for me. How about
Mhm.
you?
So my situation is a little different, as you said. You're in a same sex relationship, so I think you don't really have too much to worry about as far as men. But it's a little different. Okay, so just to be start off with, I consider myself a nice guy. I'm a nice guy. I will say that, and um, I'll say quote unquote because I don't want to feel like I'm saying I'm a nice guy just so oh, he's just a nice guy. But no, basically, I had a lot of female friends. I had a lot of female friends in the beginning of my relationship. It's funny because me and my wife, we're hitting 5 years this week. So we've been together for 5 years. Been married for a year and so, but we've been in a relationship for 5 years. So when we first got together, I had a lot of female friends. I admit that I did. I admit that I did, and it did bother my wife, especially when we're dating. It's like, okay, she'll see my phone and it'll pop up text message from so and so, phone call from so and so, and I didn't have any intentions of like, oh, I want to have multiple girls on the side, or I want to date multiple people at the same time. Because I feel like that's too much energy. I can't give that much energy out to people. It's a lot of work to
Oh, yeah.
have a relationship here, have a relationship here. I'm like, I can't do that. So I like rather devote to one person. And we had a conversation about it, and I understood her point of view that you know you can have female friends. She never said I couldn't have female friends, but the quantity, like the quantity of female friends. I guess she saw it more of a quality versus quantity. Like you can have quality female friends, there's nothing wrong with that, but having like 20 or 30, that she was not for that. And her main reason behind that is that, and then we talked about this a little bit, is that she didn't want it to be a situation where, yes, I'm a nice guy, and my intentions are not to, have a whole other relationship, but we don't know the intentions of other people. Not to say that they have bad intentions, but the heart wants what the heart wants. So, for example, they may be looking at me like, okay, well, he's a cool person, and maybe when that relationship ends, maybe I'll give it a try with him, or just waiting in the wind. And some people are like that. I've had friends that told me that situation. I'm sure you've had situations where friends have told you that, and I didn't really take it that serious. I understood what she said, but I never really took it that serious until I had a situation where I did have a friend who we were real cool. We were real cool. But as soon as she met my girlfriend, she just stopped talking to me. Like she blocked me. She never contacted me ever again, and it was just weird. And then, of course, my wife or girlfriend at the time was like, I wonder why she stopped talking to you. And I was like, I don't know. And, she was kind of like, I told you so type of situation. So from that point forward, I had to really realize that, okay, maybe she's speaking some truth to that. Like, yes, I don't have intentions of doing anything wrong, but things could happen. So it's better to have those quality female friends rather than just having a whole bunch of a quantity of female friends. And as I've grown older and we've gotten more into the relationship, meeting new people, that's another dynamic as well. I'm a relationship coach, and truth be told, most people that do coaching or do therapy are females. They're women.
Mhm.
Not a lot of men are actually into coaching, into therapy, but it's starting to change. But the majority is still women. So if I'm messaging a woman about, hey, let's sit down and have a coaching session, how would that interact with the relationship? That for me, I'm basically saying, okay, I have to be clear and concise in why I'm engaging with the person. I think that's the biggest thing because I wouldn't want her to see my phone pop up and it be Rochelle or Lisa popping up on my phone. Like, who's this? And it's like, oh, this is a client. Well, you never told me about the client. This is a random person, things of that nature. So I believe trust is important, and also being clear and concise about who these people are, and if this person is right for me to continue having communication with. And also, I pride myself in having my wife meet all my female friends. I think that's important for me because, as you know, women's intuition is very strong. So if she has some type of feelings or she sends something off or the vibe is different, she'll be clear and tell me like, okay, there's something about her that I don't like, and vice versa. Like I would like for her to meet all her male friends. She doesn't have a lot of male friends, but she does have some, and I've met them. So I think it's the same thing. Like if I feel this vibe or something off about it, I'll let her know. So, to make the long story short, that's basically my journey with having friends of the opposites or friends of the opposite sex that while I'm in a relationship.
I see. Well, I haven't met your wife, so what does she think? Am I your business partner to her, or am I your friend, or what?
Yeah, she knows that we're friends, and she knows that we're building a podcast together. I've told her the story, just like how Jackie's told you the story of how we met, and she's okay with it. She doesn't have a problem with it.
She doesn't want to meet me. That's what you're saying.
No. No, I mean, I think if the time presents itself, I mean, you both live in two different states. So
Yeah.
time permits itself, and maybe you come to Atlanta or I come to Pennsylvania. I would love to. I would love for us all to have dinner and talk and have a more deeper conversation about what we plan on doing and check the vibes out in a sense. So yeah.
Yeah, me and Jackie should go to you because I don't think PA is like a place that people like be like, oh, let me go there. Like, let me go to Allentown, Pennsylvania. Like, it's so cool there. So yeah, no. I think we should go over there because I think Atlanta, Georgia is cool. I want to go there. So yeah, we
You've
should.
never been to Atlanta or Georgia before?
Oh, mm-mm.
Wow, yeah, you'll definitely like Atlanta. You'll definitely like Atlanta. A lot to do here. A lot of things to do
Yeah,
here.
I would love to visit. So we have to meet each other in person soon.
Yeah. Definitely for sure. Like stay for like maybe a weekend or a week and we could just there's a lot of things to do. So it just depends on what you want to do and we could definitely set that
Yeah.
up for sure.
But is there a lot of vegan food?
Yes, there is. There is
I
actually.
bet. I bet.
There's a famous vegan restaurant here. There's a food truck, but now I think they're about to have a restaurant called Slutty Vegan. So that's a big Atlanta staple. It's yeah, it's run by a black woman, vegan, very popular, very famous. The line goes like super down the street. You got to get there at the right time and things of that nature. So I'll definitely make sure we stop by there for sure.
Very cool. We
Mhm.
must. But yeah, so I did ask Jackie how she felt about this because I realized that we never really had that conversation about like, do you care if I'm friends with men? Because before I dated her, I only dated men. So
Mhm.
I don't know if that feels different to her. But for me, with her, she has masculine energy, in my opinion. And I feel like everyone has feminine and masculine energy. And I feel like a masculine and a feminine energy together make a good couple.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, people might fight me for that. But the guy doesn't necessarily have to be the masculine one. Men have feminine energy too.
Yeah.
And usually men can tap into that and honor that and step into it. But yeah, anyway, she has masculine energy. She hates when I say that. I'm like, you don't look like a man, I promise. Like, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying like you have masculine energy. So my point is that I never worry too much when she talks to men because I feel like men right away know like she's a lesbian. Um, but when men meet me, they don't think that. I'm more of like a feminine lesbian. So I don't think that men try to befriend me as much as they try to befriend her. Like, I never really think that men have good intentions with me, and I really don't trust them. But I would like to change that stigma within myself, and I'm trying to be friends with men. So I have like two men that I've been trying to be friends with, and also I've been friends with you for a little while now already. So that's me trying to change the way I think about it and not just assume that every man like has bad intentions with me. But like I said, the point is I never have to worry about men talking to her because I feel like they already know she's a lesbian and she's kind of like a bro. Like, you're really not gonna get what you're looking for out of a woman from her. If you're a man, you're just gonna get like a bro.
Yeah.
But that's not to mention like that there aren't men around her that I feel have other intentions. But I don't tell her not to talk to people. I just say like he likes you, like he does, and I know that he knows we're together and he's not going to try anything, but I see his intentions. However, I don't tell her not to talk to people. And then since we're lesbians, like I said, when it comes to her talking to other women, I think I feel the same way. Like, I would like to meet the friends that she has and I would like to see the vibe. If I feel like the vibe is off, um, I really don't agree with the idea of like telling her who to be friends with and not be friends with, but I will definitely point it out. Like, that person seems like they have other intentions for you. So it almost doesn't really matter if someone is a man or a woman. I think intention is what matters, really.
Yeah. I completely agree with that because it is interesting that, someone could come to you face to face and you may think everything is, oh, maybe they're just being friendly, but as we talk about a lot, like, okay, you can't read people's minds. So that's the problem that you have, especially when you're meeting someone new. Like, you don't know if they're just trying to be friends or they're trying to, do more things, like become intimate with you.
Mhm.
And um and that's a kind of hard situation, especially with me being married, especially with meeting a single person. And I think that's another dynamic that a lot of married people have to maneuver through, because
Mhm.
especially if it's like a single female woman, you can get in a lot of trouble if you try to engage in conversation that's not platonic as far as business wise, or just trying to get information, because you would hope that everybody cherishes the idea of marriage, but some people don't, and
Mhm.
they feel like it's okay, even though that person's married, it's okay to engage and do other things because they feel like this is their right to do so. So I think it's very it's turbulent waters. Either you do it or you
Yeah.
don't. And it will get you to the point where you're like, okay, should I just keep to myself and not try to engage in of the opposite sex or do anything like that? And I realized that I can't do that because, for one, that's not in my nature. I talk to people. I like to talk to people. As you know, I like to learn about different people through conversation and things of that nature, no matter if they're men and women. But I know it's a different setup to engage with men than a different setup to engage with women, because there are
Mhm.
certain things that you can say with a guy, or just like for you, there's different conversations you could have with other women rather than having a conversation with your guy friend. So I think it's very very I guess it depends on the person. I'll say it depends on the person and how comfortable you are. But as you said, to your point, some relationships, they might not even care. Like, oh, you could talk to whoever you want to talk to, or you could hang out with whoever you want to hang out with, as long as you have an agreement. And I've come to realize that every relationship has a different agreement. Every relationship has different rules,
Mhm.
and my rules in my marriage is different from your rules in your relationship, different from somebody else. So it's always good to find out and figure out what those rules are before you try to engage in having friendships with opposites. So,
For sure. You definitely can't go into a relationship like saying like I am who I am and like this is how I've always been. I always like befriend men or I always befriend women and I don't care what your perspective is. You
Mhm.
definitely have to like try to meet in the middle because once you're no longer single, you have two parties that you have to please. You have to please yourself and you do have to please your partner. That's part of your job when you're in a
Yeah.
relationship. And I think that people have a hard time accepting that. Like they maybe some people are so caught up with not losing themselves that they don't want to compromise with their partner. But when you are choosing to do life with someone, you need to compromise with that person. You need to check with them. And I don't think that has anything to do with control. It's just, it's part of a relationship. You want to carry this relationship on and you want it to be profound and true, then these are conversations that you need to have and you need to respect those different opinions and decisions. And just like you said, every relationship has its own rules and its own structure. So even though this is my structure now, if I got into a relationship in the future, it might not be the same. That's just the way it is. But yeah, so when I asked Jacky how she feels about it, she said she feels that people are just people and it doesn't matter to her if I befriend men or women. And even if she does feel out the vibe, she's still not going to tell me who to be friends with. She's just going to leave it to me to make the correct decision for our relationship. And if I care about it, then I'll do the right thing. Is how she feels about that.
That's a lot of trust. I respect her for giving you a lot of trust. That's awesome.
I do feel very trusted, which is something I'm not used to because coming from an emotionally abusive relationship where I was never trusted to do anything,
Mhm.
it feels super weird. And even like I've been with her for 3 years and I haven't befriended men, but lately it just occurred to me like, she doesn't tell me who to be friends with. So if I want to be friends with men, then that's what I'm going to do. And so I've been working on that lately. It's been a little hard, but back to you though. You are a nice guy, and I think nice is different than kind. Do you think so or no?
I like that. Nice is difficult. I agree.
Like
I agree.
nice, to me is a surface behavior. Nice just means like I'm going to be respectful towards this person because that's just what I should do.
Mhm.
When maybe you have a different thought in your mind about what you should or shouldn't be doing towards this person. Does that make sense? Like
Yeah.
nice is kind of like people pleaser to me,
Mm.
but kind is more genuine and profound, and it's more intentional than being nice. But yes, you are a nice guy, and I think that's why you attract a lot of female friends.
Yeah. I agree. And as you said, because you're a people pleaser, like, you know, I was a people pleaser for a lot of years in my life. It made me realize that you attract certain people, men and
Hmm.
women, from certain mindsets. Because as we talked about before in the last episode, that you're a people pleaser, that means some people are attracted to that because they feel like they can get something out of you. So,
Yeah.
when we talk about that, it's kind of like, is this person really my friend, or is this person really just trying to get something out of me? And that's basically how I had to maneuver through friendships. And it made me think about a question, and I wanted to ask you this question. What if you had a friend that you met before your relationship, and once you started the relationship, you saw that that friendship was getting a little bit weird, or your significant other saw that friendship was getting a little bit weird, and they saw the vibe between you and that friend. And
Hmm.
let's say Jacky was like, I don't like that vibe too much. And as you said, she's not going to directly say you can't be friends with that person, but you can
Hmm.
tell that whenever you guys are all together, it kind of seems weird. Um, what would you do in that situation?
I hate that question.
Why you hate that question?
I don't know. That's hard. That has happened to me before, though. And
Really? Really?
what I did was I ended the friendship. Like I didn't tell the person directly, like I can't be friends with you anymore, but I kind of just distanced myself out of respect for my relationship.
Mhm.
Um, but that kind of makes me sad when I think about it now, especially because Jacky told me that she had a friend that was a guy and he like went off and got married. And I guess his wife told him to stop being friends with her. and she hasn't talked to him for like over 10 years. And just knowing like what of a kind, genuine person she is, it just makes me sad. So it's really hard to like tell people who to be friends with, because even if the other person has bad intentions, if your partner has good intentions, then that's what matters.
Yeah.
And I definitely think Jacky taught me that. She teaches me a lot of good things. But I definitely went through life being very concerned about other people's intentions. But ultimately, what matters is your intentions, not other people's intentions. They could have bad intentions all day, but if your partner has good intentions and they're committed to your relationship, they're going to do the right thing and they're going to honor your relationship. So you have to almost like trust your partner to just honor your relationship and do the right thing. And if they're not, then you know that's on them and you take it up with them. But this outside person, I don't think it's necessarily their job to honor your relationship. It's your partner's job.
Mm. I like that. I like that because it it makes it makes the responsibility, it takes the responsibility to back to the partner, like your partner.
Yeah.
Instead of you blaming that other person has their own intentions and their own ideas already. That has nothing to do with your relationship. You and your significant other have agreement. You guys have an understanding, and it's up to your partner to understand that. So when they see something that's off or see something that's a vibe, you as the friend to that person and the partner to your significant other, you have to realize, okay, is this still valuable? Is this friendship still valuable, or is it going to hurt what I want to have in the future or what I'm having right now? And you have to make a decision. I mean, as you said, it's going to be tough. It might make you sad, but I've had to do that as well. I've had to do that as well. There was a friend that was really cool. I didn't see anything by it. We were just friends, casual friends, and um, my wife was just like, I don't like this person's vibe, and I was like, well, what about it? She's like, I just don't like it. And as you said, she never told me not to be friends with that person. She was just like, well, just what what is that person's intention in your life? I guess that's the good question that she asked me, and I was just like, we're just friends. But the more I started getting into a relationship, I realized that that person stopped contacting me. Like she just stopped talking to me, and I was just like, that's weird. And as you said, I didn't do anything to keep the relationship going. I just realized that if the energy started getting weird and she's not messaging me back or she's not hitting me up to see how I'm doing, then just let it go. I just let it go. So I think that's the best option, like for people listening or watching now, that if you sense something's off and you see your friend is acting, the vibe is off with a friend, or maybe you need to distance yourself, sometimes it needs to be done because you might, it's just back to what I said, you can't read that person's mind. And if they have that sense that something is off, just let it be. Just let it be. So I think that's the biggest thing you can do in that situation. And I agree with you.
Yeah, vibes are definitely everything. But with my male friendships that I try to have, I could share like a little bit. So I am friends with one of my exes. And I've never been friends with exes. Like I've always been a strong believer, like ex means exile. Like you are out of my life. I never met you. Like I'll delete all your pics. I'll like forget you ever even existed.
Mhm.
But this one ex was only like we were only together for a short period of time, and even though the relationship didn't end well and maybe he didn't respect me entirely the whole entire relationship, he was always a good friend and just someone good to talk to. So after the relationship died off, then I started to be friends with him. So yeah, we're friends. But the one day, or like the one week, I felt like something was wrong with him. Like I don't know why. I just get some vibes off of people, and I thought that he was sad or something. So all week I'm like thinking that he's sad, and I ended up messaging him on Instagram, and I asked him like if everything was okay. He said it wasn't, and then he asked me if he could call me to tell me what was going on. So I'm like in constant communication with Jacky, like we text all day, but I didn't tell her that he was gonna call me, which I had every like availability to do so.
Mm,
I just didn't tell her. I was gonna tell her that I talked to him, but I just didn't tell her beforehand. So he called me and we spoke for like 20 minutes. He told me what was going on. I gave him some advice and that was pretty much it. And we let it go. Like after we hung up, I just texted him and said, like, you're a great person. You deserve all the happiness in the world. Like I hope things get better for you. And that was pretty much it. It was completely platonic. So I leave work and I called Jacky and I told her that I talked to him on the phone and she was not happy. Like she knows that I'm friends with him, but she felt like it was sneaky because I had every opportunity to tell her that he was going to call me and I didn't. I took the call, held the entire phone call, obviously didn't text her back while I was on the phone with him because I was on the phone. And then I ended up telling her later. So she felt like it kind of happened behind her back. And I really didn't like take that well. Like I just got irritated with her being irritated. Obviously now looking back I see where she was coming from, but in the moment I was just annoyed that she was annoyed with me because I am nothing but loyal and honest, and I felt like she was calling me like a sneaky liar, but she wasn't. She just would have preferred if I told her beforehand.
yeah, yeah. That's a. When you were telling me that story, it reminded me of a situation similar to that. It's like um, while we were still boyfriend girlfriend before we got married, there was a female friend that I had, and my wife didn't say I shouldn't talk to her, but she would just question like, why are you still talking to her? You know, because it was
Mhm,
I never directly said like I liked her or nothing like that, but she thought that I had some I liked her or something like that. And
mhm,
so I was just like, okay, no, maybe I should just stop talking to her. And then it got to the point when I was like hiding, texting her, just not to go meet up and stuff like that, but to
mhm,
see like how's everything going and things like that. And it hit me. I was like, if you need to hide or you need to sneak away to have a conversation with someone, that means that you shouldn't be having that conversation with that person. Or
mhm,
you should be upfront and honest about you having that conversation, because it makes it seem like you're doing something behind somebody's back where you could clearly and easily talk to that person, but you in your mind, you're literally saying, maybe I shouldn't tell my significant other about this because I'm afraid of what they're gonna say. If you're afraid of what they're gonna say, that means it wasn't right in the first place. So, so,
yeah,
and I had to realize that I was like, okay, some of these friendships I do need to let go. I do need to let go of some of these friendships because, for
yeah,
one, I'm acting out of my character
mhm,
just to keep a friendship going, and that stuck with me because I do a lot of self awareness, and I realized that a friendship shouldn't be kept in the dark.
mhm,
It should be out in the open. It should be clear. It should be spoken about with your significant other. It should be understood what kind of friendship it is, and it should be clear as day. But if you're secretly texting somebody or secretly calling somebody or not telling your significant other about the conversations that you're having with these people, it's not an honest friendship, and you need to make a decision. Like, do you want to keep that relationship or do you want to keep the friendship? But
yeah.
you can't do both, because obviously if you knew that it was okay to be friends with that person, you should have to sneak away and do stuff like that. So yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's selfish. So yeah, I also have this other male friend who I met at work and I still know. But we talked like all the time. Like not all the time, like inappropriately, but like on Instagram, like here and there, at work, like maybe text sometimes. And it was cool. And I was just like, I finally have a male friend. Like he was genuinely a nice guy, keyword nice, but respectful and everything like that. But then his girlfriend moved in, or they moved in together, and he completely just ghosted. Like he disappeared from the face of the earth, like completely. Like it's like we're not friends anymore. And they were together already when we started being friends, but now that they live together, he's just gone.
Mm,
And I'm just like, and that made me feel bad because I care about people deeply. Like I care about people a lot. And I have a hard time accepting that people don't really care about you that much. And I feel like men especially don't care about you that much. Like if they're not going to sleep with you and they know they can't sleep with you, then they don't care about you that much, and they'll ghost you and they'll not talk to you and they don't care about your friendship. Like I just feel like men don't value friendships with women that much. They're just like, I didn't get what I wanted, so goodbye. And so yeah, it was kind of sad, but then I had to like reason with myself and just be like, it's nothing that I did, it's nothing about me as a person, it's whatever he's battling within himself. Like maybe she asked him not to speak to me, maybe he felt like our friendship was interfering with his relationship. I am not sure what it is, and I don't think I will ever know, but it's not a reflection of who I am as a person.
Yeah, I I see your point. And from a guy's perspective, since I'm a guy,
Here we go.
um, I get that. I do. But as you said, most guys, and I believe there are exceptions to the rule. And I feel like I'm an exception to that rule because I generally check on people to check on people. I don't necessarily have female friends to sleep with them. I have female friends because I really care about them. And I know that a lot of guys are not like that. I want to make it clear there are guys that have one thing on their mind and that's all they care about. But I would say for the guys like myself that generally want to have friendships with men and women and they treat them both alike, it does suck. It does suck when you have to stop being friends with certain people or certain people just don't contact you anymore or the friendship is not the same as it used to be because you feel like you invested a lot into that friendship. You invested your
Yeah.
time, energy, emotions into that friendship and it goes away. It's like, dang, what did I do wrong? Should I hit them up more? Should I hit them up less? Should I have maybe have certain conversations this way instead of that way? And you, as you said, you tend to look at like, dang, it makes you feel bad because of the way it ended. But as you said, also, we have to remember that it's not necessarily us because we put the effort out there. We're putting the time out there. It's the other person. You can't be in a friendship by yourself. You have to be
Yeah.
you're in a friendship with two people, or it's not going to work. So especially any relationship, men or women, if you're putting too much energy into the friendship and you're not getting anything back or getting a little back, you have to reevaluate and say, hey, is this really the friendship that I want? Is this
Mhm.
really the person that I want in my life? Because I feel like I'm putting more into it and not getting anything in return. And of course, it's not going to be 50-50. I always tell anything, relationships, friendships, whatever it may be. It may be 60-40 one day. It may be 70-30, 20-80. But at least that if that person is putting in effort and you know it's not always the imbalance. Maybe you may be 20%, the other person may be 20%. But as long as you know that, okay, maybe this person's having a bad day, the next day will probably be better. But if you see that they're constantly not giving much effort into it, let the relationship go. And I think that's the biggest thing about it. It's gonna hurt, as you said, it's gonna hurt, but it's better than you wasting your time with someone that's not valuing your time.
Yeah, for sure. We have 15 minutes left, or like 14 and counting. That went super fast.
It did.
So yeah, we know a lot of people are gonna have a lot to say about this because obviously it's controversial. So
Mhm.
yeah, like we said, feel free to DM us over on the With Heart and Soul podcast and let us know what your thoughts are about this. We're not like trying to give you a rule book or anything like that. We're just telling you our experiences and what the rules are within our relationships. So my rules aren't correct and David's aren't correct. It's just what works for our relationships. So we hope that you guys can respect that and just let us know what you guys think. But I did ask on Instagram for some DMs about this, and I asked some people like what their thoughts were. So some people did share, and I'm going to read those for you guys now. All righty. Not gonna say anything to me, David.
No, I'm just listening. I'm ready.
All right, I gotta pull them up in my phone. I took some screenshots. Okay. Wait, that is a review. That's another review. Those are reviews. Okay, my bad. Let me go on Instagram.
And this is for episode 2, right? Or this is
It actually, I asked about like what people thought about having friends of the opposite sex within the
okay, I got you.
Okay, so we got some responses over on the With Heart and Soul Instagram. So my friend said, I think it's fine as long as boundaries are respected, but her only opposite sex friend ever is her husband. So
Really?
yeah, I thought that was interesting, but she
That's
thinks that it's fine. So yeah, and then your friend said it's only possible if they do not find each other attractive or aren't interested in each other at the same time.
mm.
What do you think about that?
But that's kind of hard. I mean, I see that point. I get it. But attraction is a hard thing. Like, what do you mean by attraction? Because one person may not be attracted to the other, but the other might be attracted to them. But they might never say it. Some people don't say that they're attracted to other people.
They
So
don't. So how do you know? It's the
yeah.
vibes. You can tell if someone is attracted to someone based on the vibe. People need to tap into the vibes for sure.
Mhm.
But yeah, I had one of my friends say something. So she said, I don't think it matters, honestly, like whether or not you're friends with someone from the opposite sex. There's too much to separate just the opposite sex. There's poly relationships, there's gay, straight, transgender, etc. As long as each party is respectful to the other as far as their personal goals and their commitment to their partner, it shouldn't matter.
Mm. Well said. Well said with that. Very well said. And I guess it goes back to what we said. It's all about your relationship, what you guys both agree upon. So,
Yeah. It's all about the agreements. But yeah, all of those are very valid points. And I kind of agree with that about like people are just people, just like back to what Jackie said. Like it's hard in this day and age, and not to say that LGBTQ plus is like a day and age thing. I know it's always existed. So all respect to the community. I know it's always existed, but it's more like you're more allowed to be who you are these days. So how can you just have a straight set rule about you can't be friends with women because there's all these different ways that people identify these days.
yeah.
So and I often think about how if I am friends with men, do they just tell their girlfriend like, oh, she's a lesbian, and then the girlfriend just calms down. She's like, all right, like I don't need to worry, she's a lesbian.
Yeah, I mean, some women probably will be more assured if if that friend is a lesbian because as you said, some people, women and men, they're territorial. They're territorial to who they are with, who they're with, their house, everything's in that nature. So if they see that person is not a threat, then they'll be probably more inclined to be more accepting of the significant other having friends with opposite sex. But if they're threatened, then that's a whole other issue. So
Yeah, yeah. I understand like being territorial and everything like that, but I'm really trying to change my mindset because I was very set in like heterotypical ways. Which is obviously like don't be friends with women if I'm with a man, and same to me, I shouldn't be friends with men. And I was always like very jealous and territorial and things like that. But I'm trying to change that perspective because you are able to love your partner a lot more deeply when you set them free. They their experience in this life is not yours to control. And that's something that I'm really trying to accept. Like, I love Jackie so much, and this is her life. Like, I don't control it. I don't get to decide like who sees her and finds her to be beautiful, and I don't get to control who she talks to or who she finds beautiful. Like I can't control any of that. And no, it's not an open relationship. We're very monogamous. But it's just in the sense of like when we are in a relationship with someone, we try to control their existence, and we should respect their existence more. This is their life path and it has nothing to do with you.
yeah,
Does that
I
make
feel
sense?
no, that makes completely sense. And I think the biggest thing about it is that you you're in a relationship with someone and you ask their opinion. You don't give them commands. So I think that's
Right.
the biggest thing. So yeah, And we said that, and I said this last episode, that the other person is not there to complete you. You're your own person. The other
Mm-hmm.
person is there to join you as you guys are both building a foundation and relationship with love and understanding and the rules that you set for the relationship. One person is whole, other person is whole. They got their own life, they got their own understanding. It's just you guys decided to bring your lives together, but we still think differently. We still feel differently. We still have different enjoyments and things of that nature, but we have to be accepting of the other. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can't control your partner. And like I said, I think that just allows you to love your partner more freely if you just let them be who they are. And ultimately, if we are feeling territorial, there's a fear behind that. So what is the meaning of your fear? The meaning could be like, my partner might like that other person more than they like me. Okay, and then what happens? So they leave you. That's their decision. Do you really want your partner to stay with you because you controlled them and manipulated their life so that they could stay with you?
yeah,
So you kind of have to like release all of those fears that are involved with them communicating with other people. Like, I understand you're feeling territorial and everything like that, but ultimately you're just concerned that they might choose the other person over you. And if that does happen, then that's not the relationship for you.
yeah, yeah. And how can I put it this way? I think we talked about this in the first episode, that we make decisions, but we
Mhm.
make decisions based off of what we want it to, what the outcome to be. But we don't really think about the other side of that decision, the
Mhm.
the, the things that don't work out. And we put a lot of effort in hoping that our decision is going to work out for us, which is beautiful, and there's nothing wrong with that. But we have to be aware of what happens if it does. But I think a lot of people tend to be blinded to the idea that, hey, I just feel like this is going to happen and that's it,
Mhm.
without realizing that other things can happen as well. The same thing applies to relationships. You have to be aware that you are trying your best to make this relationship work. You're putting effort into making the relationship work. But if there's something about your partner that is not good and it comes to light, let it come to light.
Mhm.
So,
Yep. So, yeah, I think that's what we can leave off with. We have about 5 minutes. So, do you have anything else you want to share with us about anything at all?
um, well, not necessarily. I mean, go to my coaching page, Collab Coaching. I'm wrapping up my childhood healing from your childhood series this week with week 4. It's gonna be great wrap up for everything that I've been talking about for the past 3 weeks. Um, yeah, watch. You can watch the previous videos on YouTube. Just type in Collab Coaching, like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, my website, yourcollabcoach.com. If you watching the video or a previous video, you're like, hey, I'm ready for coaching, go ahead and sign up for that free 15-minute initial session and fill out that relationship checklist. What about you, Jackie? What's going on in your life that you want people to know about?
That actually reminds me that you guys should definitely look at our description because I personally, I'm the writer for our show, so I do write on the description. So check that out before you listen, because I know for our last episode we had some trigger warnings, and some of you guys didn't see those trigger warnings. So please look at the description, because if there's a topic that's too sensitive for you to hear about, you'll see that in the description. And also, anything that David and I talk about will be in the description below. And David and I both have our own businesses aside from the podcast, so all of that information will always be in the description. So make sure you're looking on there. And yeah, just like David said, if you like anything that he says, he's a very helpful and wise guy. So if you need any further assistance from him, he is a certified relationship coach. And I told him to start advertising himself, because if you don't advertise yourself, who will? Um, so yeah, and also last week I did put my t-shirt business in the description, and I don't know if you guys saw that. I do have a t-shirt business with my fiance and her twin sister, and we basically redesigned thrifted items to keep them out of landfill. So check it out. We do have a website and everything like that. So yeah, always look at our description for any other information you may need.
What's the name of the company?
See where we land.
Yes. Love it.
So yeah, guys, check it out. But yeah, we're gonna wrap it up here. So it was so nice talking to you, David. I really enjoyed this topic. Thank you so much for listening, guys. We hope you have a great week.
Yes. Don't forget to go ahead and go to all the podcast channels and stations that you got. Go ahead and listen to this 2, 3 times. Share it with a friend, family member 2, 3 times. Go on YouTube and watch the actual video so you can see our lovely faces. Like, subscribe so you don't miss out on that. We're also on SoundCloud as well if you're into SoundCloud. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching and listening. And we will talk to you guys next week. Bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye.